We just finished cleaning up our cylinder and got the chambers, everything cleaned out of there, and the same with the barrel. So we'll take a look through there. Yeah, nothing in there. That's been cleaned and dried, and then a little oil put into it. So next thing we're going to do is shoot some of these cylinders. We're going to load up maybe 4 or 5 of them with lube on the end of the chambers here. And we did not clean the action of the gun out. That's not necessary in this case. So we're going to load those up and see if we can get some results. I'm suspicious that they'll be shooting better than the ones without any wads or lubes, but maybe I've gone to seed too and just don't have the ability. Anyway, we shoot 5 targets with this. 5 more targets with this, and I've already shot I think 5 this morning. So fatigue wise I should be fatigued somewhat, so I can use that for an excuse anyway if my groups don't come out better. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, here's a closer look at that target we just shot using the lube on the end of the chambers. And here's the ones we shot just a couple hours ago with no lube or no wads. That was target number 5, and here was target number 4. I'm working really hard on these things too, trying to get a decent group, but they just wasn't working out. A lot of shooters, without using the right kind of lubrication or wads or whatever they have, they're going to think maybe it's just them, but it may not be, because here's next target I shot when I used my lubing system and lube and things, and same load, same size round ball, same gun, same everything. So just the difference in that these things here can't find the rifling, and they're like shooting out of a smooth bore. At least that's the idea that I've got, and I'm not saying I'm right, but something through change, that's all I know. And shoot a group like that when you're shooting this just an hour or so earlier. Well, something just happened that's almost the first time, which kind of goes to show that you always got to be careful. I thought I fired 6 shots down there, which I had because it's a nice group that I've got going down there, but I only shot 5 and didn't recognize that until I started taking the gun apart and saw there was one cap that hadn't gone off, and sure enough there's still load in there. So anyway, we put her back together again, and we're gonna shoot that number 6. I'm sure that'll be 4 inches, I shouldn't say sure, but likely to be 4 inches out of the group. Felt a little high. Well, let's see if it's in the group or not. And there we got that 6th shot off. I called it a little high. Maybe one of these 2 that are up in there, but stayed well within the group, so I'm happy about that. And now I've got an honest to goodness 6-shot group. Don't have to feel we're cheating something because we only had 5 in there, so there's actually 6 in that group now. Well, I've loaded up for a 2nd string, and that 1st string really had a nice group on the paper there. Well, we'll see what the 2nd one does. I'm not expecting that. You never know, but probably had some luck on that one. Hopefully they won't be too bad as far as group size goes, and they'll be somewhere close to the black. Check to make sure that gun is empty. Yeah, caps are all gone. Get a barrel temperature just because that's what I was doing before. 91 degrees. I think we held a pretty tight group on there. Looks like our first shot about 11 o'clock. Otherwise, I think they're pretty tight. Okay, we're loaded up with the third string here with our Lube and 1860 Pietta Army. Last two groups were almost too good to be true, and if it's too good to be true, it probably ain't true. Not even a bad start. Well, a finish like that would be pretty decent, huh? Damn, I think I ought to quit right about now. Let's get our barrel temp. .93. You know, I think we've got a pretty decent little group down there. I did take a little, I did widen this sight out a little bit. This morning on the left hand side I was shooting a little to the right here the day before. Apparently things may be working out right. So I've been shooting a couple halfway decent groups here, and maybe some folks interested in how I've been loading those. I've just been putting this 1.cc dipper into the powder here, and I'll knock off the, blow off the top, as they would say when you're drinking a beer. Make sure I got the funnel in the right spot here, because I'm going to shut the camera up. Yeah, would have double charged that one, so good thing I checked. I put 3 of these in before. And number 4, 5. I use a funnel so I can get the powder not hanging up on the sides where some of my goo might be from my lube. And also, of course, easier to, oh, look at there. Check that out because it's interesting. It started to plug on the bottom, and I've got myself 1 or 2 charges in there that didn't drop through. That would not have been a good thing. Let's see what we got going on here. Take this out in the sunlight so I can look at her. Okay, I'm not sure this will show up on the camera, but I've got some really uneven powder amounts in there. So what we're going to have to do is dump this back into the dish here, and find something here like this to clean that and that funnel out. Of course, now we got an issue with some powder granules in there, but I'm not seeing much. I'll take her out in the light and look at it. There's barely anything left in there. Let's give it a good wrap. Start over again. Sure enough, you want to demonstrate how something should be done. One of Murphy's laws. If anything can go wrong, it will. Alright, so let's take that from the ground up. Quite often what I've done, I've get in the habit after I load this cylinder up. Of course, I'm loading out of the gun makes a huge difference, but I will take a look in there and just see if there's anything that looks strange. Did I put powder in that one or not? I can barely walk and talk at the same time. You got to focus when you're doing this. I'm trying to record for the camera. This isn't necessarily a good thing. Okay, take a look in there. Yeah, they all look even to me, so. Alright, next part of my operation will be to get the 451 round ball seated down on top of that powder. And I don't pay any attention, and haven't for the last 2 or 3 groups, well, pretty much all day or all the time I shoot. When I use lube, I don't need to worry about that sprue cutoff spot right there, whether you put it straight up. What you don't want normally is going on the side like this, because you can get a flash, especially if that's cut off kind of tangential to the ball and leaves a little indent there. You might get a flash going by that into your powder and set off a chain fire. So good practice is to load that up. I suppose you could load it straight down, but you can't see where it is then. So I load that straight up, and in case where I'm doing this, I just drop them on because I'm putting lube on top of that ball afterwards, and I'm not concerned about the orientation of it at all. So I just drop them on there. Right, once that's done there, we can look at them. They're all pretty even. Next part's my secret weapon here with a lube that I use in there. It shows up on camera. Get that right down in there and get on top of the ball. I normally want to check that afterwards, make sure that everything is covered. I have to go back and hit a couple spots if I missed them. And if it shows up on camera, that's kind of what that looks like when I get done with the lube in there. Too stiff, it'll be like chunks. It'll just blow out and won't do the job for you. And of course, too loose, it'll all run out on the table and or your shooting bench or in your holster or whatever you got. So it's kind of finicky that way. Works out okay when you're shooting online or something, and you can keep this thing here out of the sun, and you get the right consistency of your mixture here of your lube. It seems to work well. So next thing to do would be to cap this up, put it back in the gun. They claim not to cap these cylinders when they're out in case you drop one. Now Clint Eastwood didn't worry about that too much in Pale Rider, but you know, we're gonna do that. I have to admit, sometimes I'll cheat and put the caps on right here. Right now I'm using Remingtons, and these things are like gold right now. Same with the black powder as far as that goes. Golex isn't doing anything. So anyway, I'll back in the gun and cap these up. Like I said, sometimes I'll cap them up right here and just, you know, take them over. I only got 2 foot to move to the bench. And I'm getting to the age where hopefully if this thing drops and the cap goes off, it catches me in the right spot and I ain't got to worry about things anymore. Okay, that said, we'll get this back in the gun, cap her up, and shoot. That'll be string number 4 for us today with the lubes. String number 4, using our lube here. Had pretty nice groups here on the first 3. I'm getting pretty lucky today, and if I could afford the gas, I think I'd go to the casino. Get our barrel temp. 92. Seems about right. I'm pretty amazed at this 1860 Army done by Pietta. I think this is around a 2010 version. It's got the 1 in 30 twist. I mean, for not a solid frame gun, and about a $250 price tag on that. I think when I paid for it somewhere there a few years back. Yeah, I mean, I had to do some work on the sights, but I like it. Going to clean up our 1860 Army that we just got done shooting 24 shots. I think it was 4 targets. And one of the things I want to note on the barrel here is I'm getting a nice little ring of grease on the outside of that. That tells me my lube is working pretty well. I've been lubing the end of the chambers here with this gun, and I want to take the barrel off and put it in our water trough and just see how dirty that water is. Kind of compare that to the water that I got when I cleaned the gun when I was shooting 4 or 5 targets. I think 5 targets without any lube or any wads or anything. So get an idea of how much filth or crud or crap is in this barrel compared to the one when we're not using any lube. Here's a look at the water after we got done cleaning our gun when we shot 5 targets, and there was no lube or wads used in that gun. There was just the powder and the ball on top of that. So like I say, 5 targets, around 30 rounds. It's pretty dark. So our idea here is we shot this 4 targets, 24 rounds, with lube on the end of the chambers, and we're going to see if the water is just as dark or noticeably lighter when we go to clean this gun and the cylinder. Now, I've heard said that some folks just take this gun and take it right in the shower or the bathtub with them, but I've got enough trouble with the wife as it is. Don't need that going on. So she don't need that going on either. So we're dropping her in the trough here, and we're going to see if, first of all, we're going to see if we get any fouling to come out on itself, and then we'll do a little shake on it. I think I did the same thing on the barrel when it had shot just the powder ball, no lube or wads or anything. Then what we'll do after that is we'll run the swab here through it, this thing here and there. That'll drive out anything that's in there. Okay, I'm not seeing anything moving out by itself. Let's give it a little shake here. Might have got a little bit of stuff coming out, but it sure didn't turn the water black, did it, huh? No. Alright, let's go with our left hand so the camera can see this a little better. Get that mop wet a bit. Go through. And that's what came out. There's the mosquito buzzing around here. Maybe we'll get that sucker. There's 2 of them. It's been a bad season this year for these things around. They love water. Anyway. So how much black are we getting out of that? Almost nothing. Right, so that was for the barrel, and the barrel right now is clean.